Hello, guys. Here with the semifinals of the Legacy Monthly Tournament. I'm Nathaniel, one of your commentators, joined by Ben.
Hi,
Hi.
hello.
So here we have semifinals. We have Liam Fisher against. Let's see.
Yuan, we saw Yuan last round playing slow bow depths. A mix between turbo and slow depths.
Would you know how to spell his name?
Tan, Tan, space Wyeh. No, sorry, Yweh. EH, space Yuan, Yuen.
Okay.
Great. I love how you didn't capitalize his surname.
Oh yeah, this was like an autofill.
Autofill, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it's gonna be Death Shadow against Slowbo Depths is what we're gonna be calling it.
Slow bull depths.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's a
sure.
mix between turbo and regular and slow depths.
Okay.
Yeah, Liam Fisher on Death Shadow. I think Death Shadow without Delvers, but with stuff like Jace Prince Prodigy. I don't know if we've had him on stream this stream at this event at all. But that a deck that I really like and is close and dear to my heart because I think with all the Ren and Six out there, Death Shadow is actually really good card, and there's a lot less True Name Nemesis because of Plague Engineer, and you can play your own Plague Engineers. And because people are trying to go over the top of Ren and Six with their combo decks, the blue black deck with Thoughtseize, Hymns, Force of Wills, Dazers, Stubborn and IO is really well positioned in terms of disrupting all those elements.
So, but this is actually usually two takes on Blue Black Shadow, correct? There's the Devil-less and the Devil version.
Yeah, this is the double-less version, I believe, with Jace Rinse Prodigy in his deck.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
so Yuan correctly identifying that with a Watery Grave, it's probably a deck that has Wastelands.
yep,
It's
usually
probably a
only
deck that has Death Shadow.
usually
Yeah.
only one deck plays Water Grave, and it's be the Blue Black Death Shadow deck, which does run Wasteland. So yep, just thought sees.
Yeah, so yeah, he did fetch correctly, right? Because that is a Wasteland that's
Yep.
in the front of his hand. There's a Marsh Flats, there's a Fatal Push. That looks to be
A Preordain and a Tombstalker.
a Tombstalker. So yeah, one of Liam's favorite cards, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we saw
So
him play Tombstalker last month when he was playing this exact same deck, and it's back again, making another appearance. It flies over True Name Nemesis. It flies. It beats Delver in the air. It helps you raise a Goyf when the kind of ground is all stalled out.
it's
Yeah.
yep. So it's
Liam drawing pretty well, drawing a Brainstorm. He can drastically change the contents of his hand, and it might be worth it because he doesn't really need that Fatal Push at least, right?
yep. The Fatal Push is almost useless in this matchup. I mean, you can get rid of maybe an Elvish Reclaimer. Well, not many
maybe
targets.
Sylvan Safekeeper actually might not be too bad. But he's definitely going to value that Wasteland.
So we see after Preordain, we see Days and Force here. So would you probably lead on that Brainstorm instead with this fetch land?
I can see why he doesn't want to lead on the Brainstorm. Like he's probably just trying to find some disruption with that Preordain before. I mean, he can play the Brainstorm next turn, right? It's not like he's in any hurry. Without his opponent's first land being Urborg, he doesn't have to worry about like a turn 2 deaths or anything. Yeah. So that also gives him the opportunity to spend his land drop and to make the land drop be a Wasteland this turn. Yeah. So now he is kind of protected from a depths combo at some point. Yeah. So you're weighing his options.
So actually, the slow depth stack actually is the weakness being the Wasteland, but it's actually pretty protected by Wasteland itself because
What do you mean?
you have cards like Crop Rotation and Elvish Reclaimer.
Protected from Wasteland.
From Wasteland.
Yeah, and that's where the Fatal Push is interesting, right? Because the Fatal Push is good against Elvish Reclaimer. It's kind of sort of good against Sylvan Safekeeper. Yeah, but obviously not as good. And yeah, here Yuan trying to clear out his opponent's hand. He did ask Liam for the Oracle text of, and he's gonna get dazed. Yeah, dazed probably the draw off of the Preordain because we saw that he drew Brainstorm this turn. So yeah, gonna tap this. Gonna be able to play a duress to knock out the card in his opponent's hand. So
taking that Brainstorm.
taking that Brainstorm. So yeah, it didn't actually have
So the fossil wheel is quite sitting empty in Liam's hand here.
He just drew that fossil wheel. He hit it with. He had no. He pushed the
stacked
cards
it.
with. He pushed the cards with the preordain.
I believe he stacked Days fossil wheel, so I believe he kept both double top. I think he saw the Days in fossil wheel and kept the Days. Kept top.
We will not know.
Yep.
Yeah. So wasteland, pretty good draw on Yuan's part. It does mean that he can interact with his opponent's only source of blue mana now. Yeah. So with the Bob having resolved, there is Dark Confidant in a world full of Ren and 6. Yeah, and yeah, Liam still has that marsh flats that we know from turn 1. Still gonna be able to play this play blue spells, but not because his brainstorm was knocked out by that very timely duress. He has no real way to change the shape of his hand, on the texture of his hand.
And notable that Liam's really left is just the Tombstalker, and Tombstalker being black, I believe, right? In the text, it's gonna be quite hard to cast off one source.
Sorry, Tombstalker. Yeah, it's
Tombstalker,
gonna
yeah.
be, but he does have access to some number of underground seas. But yeah, I think the real concern right now is the Bob that's in play.
You probably regret pushing that fatal push away.
Do you just spell Tombstalker as Tom Stalker?
Correct, but I got it now.
Tom Stalker is like if you're kind of obsessed with Loki, just follow him around. Tom Hiddleston.
Oh, Tom Hiddleston. Okay, took
It
me a little bit.
I could see the loading sign in your head.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, Cody. I think Death Shadow is really a meta game kind of call, right? Like the meta game has to be ripe to play the deck. You can't play it all the time. It can't be like your go-to. Yeah, but Legacy is about playing what you like.
And Liam
Yeah.
Fisher likes his deck a lot because that's all I see him
he's
on.
almost always playing this deck. Yeah.
So we saw a Ponder, which is a really great draw for Liam.
Yeah. But the Ponder seems to be the second black source to play that Tombstalker that he has in his hand. And yeah, flipping a land off of Bob means that it's a free card for Yuan, and he drew also his Elvish Reclaimer that we're talking about. Yuan getting into 2. Elvish Reclaimer is going to pose a lot of problems for Liam's Wasteland, because then now he can't profitably Wasteland. He's going to play a second Bob. He is not afraid. No fear. There's nothing in his deck really that hurts him, right? It's not like he's Liam and playing Tombstalkers in his deck, right?
No, I think the highest CMC is probably 2, right?
Oh yeah, it's a pretty safe, pretty good rate of return. And with Mox Diamonds in your deck, it's a pretty good card, right? You can play on turn 1. Very, very hard to interact with.
A good 40% of your deck is just 0.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Liam must have pondered and set it up such that he picked up a blue card this turn to go with the force in his hand. He's going to be able to deploy his 1 Tombstalker that we know about, and still keep a wasteland up just in case the opponent tries to assemble a Merit Large token. The Tombstalker also blocks the Confidence, so Yuan might think about suiciding a couple of his Bobs, one of his Bobs at least, right? Run it into the Tombstalker so it doesn't pose him a problem. Right now it's a 4-turn clock, but if he hits a combination of 2 mana costs over the course of his 2 upkeep triggers. Land, how lucky. 2. Okay, so now he's at 15.
No, it's
so
15, 3-turn clock.
Yeah, 3-turn clock.
But you have to remember, I believe that this is the Elvish Reclaimer might be a 3-4 at this point.
Yeah.
So this is 7 points.
Yeah, and he has a surgery step in his hand, so he can get through for an unblockable amount. He can make it protection from black and get a hit in. Which is actually quite powerful, because if he hits with the Reclaimer this turn, but there's no way to make it a 2-turn clock. Unless he plays he might play the Hex Mage, and then he's representing lethal, and this Tombstalker can't actually attack, right?
Yep. I'm just gonna go yes. I haven't really analyzed that. So
he's gonna attack with both.
Yeah.
I
think as Liam, I think, do you want to go for the play where you just hopefully Liam just the slow depths player just kills himself? Oh, okay, so he's just gonna trade.
He's gonna trade. I think the trade makes sense. Like, he's only taking 2 in this exchange, and if Yuan's gonna play a Hex Mage here, right? Like, he's only threatening 7 back.
And I believe this represents Dark Depths as well.
Does it?
Because you can get Dark Depths in this.
He can convert that. He can change it, but that's risky, right? In the face of an open
Wasteland, correct?
Yeah. So Liam can't pull the trigger on his Wasteland either. But I suspect like Yuan is gonna force him at the end of turn anyway. He's just gonna make him have it, right? Well, back to 100 viewers. I hope all of you who were watching enjoyed the flip it or rip it on camera. Unfortunately, it wasn't anything too exciting. There were no wrens being torn apart.
I guess that's for the better.
Sorry, yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know. Yeah, it could make the price of your rents go up in price if there are less of them,
a little bit.
ever so slightly. So yeah, we were right. He picked up a blue card last turn, and now he
It's Death
has.
Shadow, him, and Fossil.
Yeah, is that him?
Yeah, it looks like him. Look at mainboard him.
Oh, yeah, it is him. So
So,
he's in a tough position
yep,
here.
slow depths player on 3 cards.
Yeah. Those look like sharp PCs. Yeah, I think he has the perfect fits that have a black border. You know, for affordable luxury. You know, for when
And-
you want to look better, but don't
And
wanna.
I thought he had the OG duels. Like,
Oh yeah,
ah,
are you for real, man?
no, I didn't really take a closer look.
Okay, yeah. So completely random. Yeah.
Okay.
So he's gonna discard these two cards, but I think he can pretty much force Liam's hand right. At the end of turn, he's gonna activate that this guy, old mate over here. Get rid of a Bayou. Pick something up.
See, so the slow depths player shouldn't activate his vampire, right?
No, he shouldn't.
Shouldn't,
Right?
okay.
Because he can always respond to the trigger of the dark depths itself. The correct play would be to
remove the ice counters trigger, right?
no, yeah, when there are no ice counters trigger. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean that would be the best way to go about doing that, right? We had a situation come up earlier where opponent had two hex mages in play,
Oh, okay.
right?
Oh,
So
I believe that game was on stream.
yeah. And this is why we don't play him in Legacy. Yeah, it's just 2 mana do nothing most of the time. But the I think Death Shadow itself is a powerful card. But I agree, HC Fox, that it's not the best card. So he's gonna flip to Bob. Flips under Bob.
It's a pretty decent. Eh? Oh, you flipped the one. Oh.
He flipped
oh.
the one. He flipped the one.
So this should be a draw step, right?
Yeah, so this is the draw step.
Okay.
And why is he cutting?
I wouldn't know. I'm pretty sure he revealed the dark. Was it dark depths?
He revealed the Bob.
Okay. I think we have a judge on the table right now
I don't
handling the
think it's
matter.
too complex.
Yeah.
Use Reclaimer to find out wasteland. Yeah, you're right. Sean, I think he can just go with that line at the end of turn. To kind of force his opponent's hand. Obviously you don't want to do it in your turn in case of some weird stuff, like Jace, but there's also the chance, and you're kind of Diabolic Edict proof. So
I think you
you're
do it
pretty
now
fine.
to protect from, like, let's say if Fisher were to draw another wasteland, correct?
Yeah.
Do you think you do it? That's why you would do it.
But I
on your
don't think
turn.
Fisher's winning anyway, right? He's not winning the race for sure. Right, he should be at 5, yeah? Yeah. I mean life totals are not updated. Thank
There
you,
you go.
Yuan. You heard me.
Hopefully he didn't hear you. That's a problem.
The only way to find out would be to yell that United sucks because he's wearing a United jersey. But I don't think I could conscionably say that being a United fan when I was young. So I think it would have to be you and that.
I don't play football.
Stage in hand. So he lays the stage. He can force the action without. So if he had the stage, I would have liked the attack with the Elvish Reclaimer here, right? Because he doesn't need the Reclaimer to force the action anymore. Right? He can just respond. He has two ways to. He has one way to force the action with stage, and he has the Hex Mage to respond to the singular wasteland. But at this point, we're quibbling
Yeah,
over
so
the details here.
especially when a 2020 you can just smack in.
So his hand is Death Shadow, and is that another him?
I think that's reanimate and fossil wheel.
Okay, yeah. So game is pretty much over. Right? We know that Liam can't meaningfully interact with his opponent. You're gonna go for his opponent's dead on the backswing. So his opponent actually has to play a creature, which is gonna be this Death Shadow. But that also limits the options that Liam has in terms of cards he can play to respond to what's going on. So he's gonna remove the counters,
So now
thinking
Liam has
Liam's
it should trigger on the stack,
triggers on the stack.
and yeah.
The trigger for sacrificing Dark Depths when there's no counters on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
and
Liam sees the writing on the wall.
Sees the writing on the wall, packs it up. Yeah. So this is the kind of deck that's well positioned, right? Like, it is a kind of like a combo deck.
Okay.
It is a combo deck, but it doesn't get disrupted that heavily by hand disruption spells, right? So it's not as soft to Thoughtseize. It's really not soft to him.
Yeah,
as
enough.
we
And
saw in that
especially
game.
Force of Will and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. And Force of Will gets around Force of Will pretty well. It feels bad to have the Force of Will like Vampire Hex Mage.
Yeah.
You know, when there's also some more powerful stuff in there. And then sometimes you can just lay a Thespian stage and there's nothing you can do about it, right? Yeah. So, post board, what do you like coming out of Liam's sideboard?
I wouldn't know too much about Liam's sideboard. I was hoping that you can have some shed some light on that.
Okay,
You
so-
being the blue black shadow.
Okay,
Guy.
so yeah, I think edicts are in order. I think some amount of creature removal. I think the hymns come out. Because they're pretty bad against the way his deck is set up. And more removal, as you can see, because of the Dark Confidence and the Elvish Reclaimers, more removal is not going to be dead as it would be in a more traditional lands kind of matchup. Yeah.
I see submerge. I see submerge and
Submerge is interesting,
Yep,
right?
Submerge.
It's a free spell that takes care of Merit Large token.
submerge pitting needle to
yeah.
stop the Thespian stage.
Echoing Truth could be an answer as well,
Yeah.
right? Especially if you're worried about something like the other creatures kind of meddling your plans to play Liliana's Triumph.
Well, if you go for if you somehow get a Dark Depths in the graveyard, Surgical Extraction can come into play.
That makes a lot of sense
If
because
you-
you have Wastelands.
Oh yeah, you also
Yeah.
if you keep in hymns.
But unlike the lands, the traditional lands version of the deck, it's not as soft, right? Like you can't Surgical Thespian Stage and say, oh yeah, you're never getting a
2020.
guy in play because you have Vampire Hex Mage. This is why lands itself has kind of fallen out of favor. Yeah, and so Yuan's part, Yuan has probably access to some amount of. We saw some Force of Vigors that won't be useful at all in this particular matchup, right? Unless he's worried about Ratchet Bomb.
I've seen some slow depths decks actually transition to more of a rock style with a Tamagoyf and
Oh yeah.
Liliana. I believe Conrad was on that. So
Okay. Yeah,
saw
that's
po-
interesting.
if you saw a post board, he had like Kamagoyfs and Lilies in play.
Yeah, but I think that's only good in a matchup where you think they're gonna be able to effectively hate your lands plan really well, right? Like if they have like Caracas or
Yeah, maybe against DNT.
against DNT or against a deck that has like a Swords to Plowshares or stuff like that,
You're
right?
probably thinking like, oh, maybe against 4C, like I board out my up the case because they don't
Yeah.
really hit that many things. Then you just board in like
you just
3.
play a whole bunch of good black green creatures and disrupt them to victory. But I think Yuan probably gonna stick pretty close to his current configuration. He might bring in a couple of tireless trackers to grind it out, but I don't think so. I think that's just like Liam's deck is not entirely a grindy deck, right? It's gonna turn the corner pretty quick. It's gonna disrupt your game plan, play a shadow, and hit you a few times, and you're dead. So I don't think you can afford to play tracker. I think the next trophy comes in.
I think the
Yeah.
ley line to deal with maybe the Jace and the Tombstalkers.
I don't
maybe?
think so. I think it comes up the board too much.
Okay.
Yeah. If anything, not even the needles. Needles get kind of weak, right? But it's just about the cards that Liam Yuan wants to take out of his deck. How many cards in his deck does he not want in this matchup, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So we were just on his deck, so maybe we can go back to that page. Right.
Yeah, sorry,
We're looking
it's
at
very slow.
the list of players, and some familiar names come up. Takano Shigeki, I think.
So this is the
All-Star.
Turbo Depths one. It's not the
Yeah.
one I'm trying to look at.
Yeah.
See here. Because there's a lot of Dark Depths going around. There's Hogak Depths, there's Turbo Depths, there's Green White Depths. Hard to find the right one. This looks just about right.
This seems about right. And yeah, I don't think you can expect Yuan to take too many cards out of his deck. So Jury Step pretty good at getting through a possible blocker, a Tombstalker, as we saw, or like a Flip Delver. If he's not sure whether or not his opponent has Delvers.
So far this deck is it looks pretty okay.
Pretty trim, right?
Yeah.
If anything, I just
Not much you can cut. Yeah. Not much you can bring in either.
Scrying. Yeah, or maybe one of the discard spells on the draw. So Yuan going, both of the players going, taking a mulligan. I think mulliganing does suit Yuan better than it does suit Liam, because Liam does not have any kind of innate sources of card advantage, right? Whereas we see, for example, that Yuan has some really good two mana plays, either in Dark Confidant or either in Sylvan Library.
Yep. So there's Liam. You mean?
No,
Oh
Yuan.
yeah. So
There's
yeah,
no
cause
way
no
that
Sylvan. Yeah, Sylvan
yeah,
Library is a green card.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So on the play. Yep. So Liam's on the play here. So but on the play, Days becomes really decent.
yeah. Days, I think Days is pretty. I'm not sure whether you keep Days in against a deck that has so many like uncounterable spells or spells that um, cost like 1 or 2 mana. We said the average mana cost of Yuan's deck is probably 1.5, right? Which makes those confidence really good. But yeah, I don't think you can cut too many blue cards, especially if you don't have like cards that you want to bring in, right? Like it's not a lot of stuff. We didn't see like strong hate in Liam's sideboard against the deck that Yuan is playing. I think this is the draw of playing slow depths. You
Yeah.
don't get particularly hated out by anything.
Yep. And the card you do that hit it out. The card that you do fear, you're quite protected about it. With which is Wasteland.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because you have reclaimers
And
and possibly needles that you brought in.
yep. And
Yeah.
do they still play crop rotation? I believe.
They do, they do. Presentation is pretty bad against a deck with so much permission, but I suppose it is a quick. You want quick and cheap cards in a matchup where you are on the draw, right? Yeah, so he's deciding what to push for his mulligan. Looks like he's keeping his hand.
You,
Oh, he's mulligan twice.
yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Might push the duress, might push the crop rotation. Crop rotation being a card is inherently card disadvantage, right? So yeah, going with the singular Bayou in his hand.
One
Elvish
Bayou, one
Reclaimer,
crop, one Elvish Reclaimer, one Thoughtseize at the rest. What I see.
So yeah, Liam leading off with the good old cycle. My Shree Wraith, go to 716, cast a Ponder, hurt myself
Even more.
even more. And yeah, that's I think one of the things that people tried to do with the slow depths deck was to add blue to it, right? Play brainstorms, because you could see how it'd be such a powerful deck with brainstorm in it, and it does fit that cheap, everything costs 1 to 2 mana.
Oh, interesting. And I would never think about maybe Brainstorm.
Yeah.
But the innovation in the
I
green
think-
white depths is interesting.
Yeah. I think the guy who was a proponent that was Negator 77 about a year ago. So this Thoughtseize is gonna see a hand with Liliana, Last Hope, Fatal Push, Death Shadow, Misty Rainforest, and Wasteland. So a mono black hand, and that's how the Shadow deck usually typically ends up playing, right? It plays like a black disruption deck.
Yeah, so you just lead on a threat and maybe discard.
Yeah. So I think he might take the push.
Yep, because he hit.
Especially if he can fill his graveyard up with lands, then his Reclaimer will be Liliana proof. Reclaimer is in and of itself a 1/2.
Yeah, it's a 1/2. Then it's +2/+2. You have 3 or more great.
Yeah, let's have a look at Elvish Reclaimer right now. Yeah, so inherently 1/2, so it doesn't die to the Liliana, so he doesn't have to worry too much about the Liliana. And the push is, I think, the more immediate. So he does take the shadow instead, because he wants to play the game, the kind of slower game, and obviously
The reanimate off
yeah.
the top.
Ramming off the top, but set up with a Ponder, and Liam
Yep.
very smartly, hiding it from his opponent by not choosing to pick up the card right away, right? And yeah, so this is, I think the card in the middle of Yuan's hand is Sajiri's Step.
Not a
So
card you really want in your hand.
it's not too bad, because he's going to be able to play this Duress. And he's going to be a knockout the Fatal Push. Oh, okay. So, interestingly enough, not concerned about his Reclaimer falling to that Fatal Push. Chooses to go with the Liliana instead.
Yeah, I probably would take the fatal push, but that's what the players
I can see the
was.
reasoning for that. Like he's choked on green mana anyway, right? Like he wants to keep that green mana open to be able to play crop rotation, right? To be able to play crop rotation in response to that wasteland. So he doesn't want to like pass.
We're seeing maybe, I think the street they've managed to go the distance here.
Yeah, and with Urbok, he's always gonna have Swamp Walk.
Correct.
He's always gonna be able to attack unblocked. That's what I meant to say. Yeah. And this is interesting. It's a tough situation. I think Yuan kind of regretting his choice to take Liliana. I don't think Liliana would have done anything. Or I guess his concern was that it would take the shadow back and then put more pressure on the table.
Hmm.
That could be it. But with the surgery step, it meant that you could always pressure Liliana with
Yep. Give it pro black. So
the
the
pro black, so you can punch through. Yeah, but I guess he might be right to play conservatively and be like, okay, so here's crop rotation in on turn. He's gonna rotate away the surgery step as an additional cost. So if Liam has any kind of on the stack interaction here, could prove to be pretty deadly. So pretty interesting choice to crop rotate here. I'm not sure there's something that's clean that you would go for. He's gonna get Verdant Catacombs. You go get Catacombs as well. Go to 11.
I'm just trying to figure out what the Soldads player is trying to achieve right now. Like
I think he was trying to bait his opponent with that crop rotation, and in the absence of which he needed a backup plan. And the only way to safely bait him and not get punished at the end of the turn is to have another green mana, find another green mana, right? But I agree. Like he spent basically 2 cards to get a land back.
yeah, I was like,
Yeah, so unless he has something like Life from the Loam, which would be very, very odd, that play didn't make too much sense to me. Yeah, so he's just trying to bait his opponent, I think. So yeah, bait failed. Liam, a very, very savvy Magic player. Yeah, and look, this Reclaimer is still gonna get pushed, and Yuan made to pay. He could have wasted in response to the Catacombs trigger. You're right, he could have, and I think that's why that's interesting, right? Like if Yuan had been trying to protect himself from the Wasteland, shouldn't have cracked the. He shouldn't have cracked that Catacombs. So Crimsicle, but not getting punished, obviously. Crimsicle. So we're not here to punish people. This Fatal Push, however, will be very punishing because this is the only action that Yuan has. He's gonna take another hit from that uber unblockable Street Wraith. Do you want to
yeah,
comment at all?
trying to think of like
Nat, I've
I'm
been
just trying to
talking for like
think
5 minutes straight.
what that the Soldads player is gonna like what he can pull from here. I'm thinking like either one of the half of the Dark Depths combo plus the like something to pair the crop rotation.
Yeah, it's tough, right?
Yeah,
'Cause
it's quite tough.
he's gonna rotate away a land, so he's gonna if that land gets Dark Depths, he needs to find the other half of the combo. So he's gonna have to wait. He's gonna try and wait for this as long as possible, and that doesn't mean that he can play around that wasteland, right?
Yep. So the player's discussing something on.
So this is interesting. The players have stopped to take a bit of a chat break. I wish there was someone out there who could enforce this interference policy.
maybe Ilham has.
Oh, okay.
doing
So yeah, I
something.
think someone was asking for the oracle text of a card, and so there was that pause for someone who's allowed to use the handphone. You would hate for them to just hit the home button on the live counter and be like, let me Google this real quick. Yes, this is great.
So
Outstanding.
the basic forest, not much of a draw here for the Soldads
Yeah.
player.
So he still has that crop rotation. But not going too many places. He could crop rotate for something like maybe a nurturing peatland.
I think
Try and
knowing
get something going. If he does, noticeably, if he crop rotates away his Urborg and somehow gets rid of both the Bayous in play, his opponent's Street Wave no longer has Swampwalk.
I think this is
This game is locked up with a
with a wasteland in play, and there's
he's
no way.
he's drawn a blue card to go with this possible.
Yeah, there's no way that he can pair Dark Depths here.
So he's gonna play Plague Engineer. We all know this is Liam's favorite card
I'll make it a one-turn
because
clock.
he kept it in and
In hand for like the longest time.
for
Last
last
monthly.
month's event. I'm not sure what it is doing. I guess he could name whatever race or tribe vampire hex mage is.
Yes. Elf. Human. I believe it's a vampire. Yeah, vampire.
Just a straight up vampire.
Vampire something.
Okay, let's find out. Like, since you're by the mouse.
Hex mage. So vampire hex mage
Vampire
is
shaman.
it's a
She doesn't
shaman.
even hit
the more
Dark Confidant.
the more we know.
Pretty narrow way of dealing with things. But yeah, he manages to squeeze out that reanimated street race is gonna go coast to coast and take Yuan down from 20. I don't think he attacked with any other creature except that street wraith. And the Plague Engineer eventually. But yeah, Yuan back on the play is gonna be slightly quite a bit tougher for Liam. So we'll see what Yuan has. I think it really came down to it really did come down to Yuan not taking that fatal push.
Yep, and yeah,
Yeah, I can't for the life of me imagine what. Maybe he just didn't want the pressure
the Death Shadow,
from Death Shadow. Yeah, but
yeah,
so he could always have crop rotation in response to Liliana activation, right? And taken out the Death Shadow with a Bojuka Bolt, unless he sided the Bojuka Bolt
correct.
out. Which doesn't make would make less sense against a deck with Del creatures and Jace Prince Prodigy, right?
Yeah, even then you can also
Pro
pressure
tip:
the. Yeah,
Monastery Man doesn't create humans. You're right. It creates monks, right?
yeah, we can
Yeah.
find that out.
No, I mean I don't think there's a relevance to finding that out in this matchup
I'm
with
also
with less
curious.
Monastery Mentors. Isn't there a gatherer
I don't
window
think you can
open?
get tokens there.
Doesn't the Monastery Mentor say put the token into play?
Okay, we'll see. Wait. 1 second. Yeah, okay, it's a monk. You just have to take my word for it. Let's see. Monastery.
Monas. So anyway, back
Yep.
to our resumed
So it says
transmission
monk creature
of
token. Yep.
non-Monastery Mentor based things. Let's go back to the Twitch chat.
Yep.
Yes. So thank you, the 114 of you who are watching. These are the semifinals of our Great Games monthly legacy tournament, Eternal Sunday, part of our Great Games Invitational series. We're watching Slow Depths against Blue Black Shadow. The game is tied at the games are tied at 1-1. The match hinges on this very crucial third game. Slow Depths, we're a well positioned deck, I think. Yeah, a deck that kind of gets in under most of what most other decks are trying to do in Legacy. Has some really powerful additions lately with Wish Reclaimer.
Yep. So there was HG Fox asking what was the meta today. So I think there's a plethora of decks out there. There was even a lands, one lands, one storm. We saw a lot of black green depths. A lot of actually blue white miracles like blue soup decks, but
Blue what?
like blue soup doesn't like they just have a lot of blue cards.
Blue soup.
Yeah, it's like a
That's a term.
it's a term I
That's
saw.
the
It.
thing,
I was
blue
watching
soup.
one of these Eternal Glory podcasts and they
Eternal Glory.
yeah. Yep. So shout out to that podcast.
Great. Yeah. I think there's a lot of Delver. There's 2 lands decks, Jeremy Miller and Kenneth Wong. Obviously, always plays lands.
Yeah,
It's a very
Kansas on
beautiful
lands.
looking lands deck. Okay, so yeah, Yuan takes the first peek at his hand. It looks to be pretty decent. Blue soup. Xerox. Yes, thank you, HD Fox, for speaking my language. Xerox is what us old timers know blue soup to be. The idea is that all the cards are the same, right? They just do the same thing. They help you look for other cards. So yeah, this Thoughtseize, I initially thought Liam was gonna cycle that Street Wraith in response, which wouldn't make any sense. But yeah, Liam's hand, Street Wraith, Preordain.
Pretty Wasteland.
He chooses to Thoughtseize the Street Wraith.
Okay.
That is a very interesting choice.
So,
Wouldn't you have taken the Preordain instead if you were looking to trying to gun for a cantrip? He's gonna be able to play this Preordain. That is very questionable on Yuan's part. Like
I personally
maybe
would
is he
probably
worried his
taking the
opponent can reduce
Pyridine.
his life total with the Street Wraith? Is that the concern? Possibly. The Street Wraith is extra bad because of the Liliana in the hand, right? Like he can rebuy that Street Wraith.
Correct.
So he's not like if you're worried about that. Yeah. So this Ponder gonna resolve. Liam's just gonna stock up with blue permission, protect his hand. Yeah. Basic Forest coming off. In Yuan's hand, which means that he can't play a Hex Mage this turn. He can play some of his, but he has a fairly reactive hand, right?
Yep. Of 2 crop rotations. A Wasteland.
Creamsicle, we don't actually have deck list because this is a regular REL event. We trust that most of the players are upstanding, and mature gentlemen and not who don't have 30 card sideboards. And but yeah, I'm sure Liam. We could ask Liam if he would make his deck list public, and if so, yeah.
So a Wasteland on Liam's side protects him a little bit from the combo.
Yeah, Fox, but doesn't that same bit also apply to the Preordain? Right? Like so I think the only difference is the 2 life, right? When the Preordain sees quite a bit more cards. Especially if your opponent didn't have like great turn 1 plays. So yeah, Reclaimer coming off the top. 4 yuan. We didn't see that in his hand earlier. He's moving 2 crop rotations back and forth in front of each other, and a wasteland sits at the back of his hand.
Okay.
This is gonna be force. Yeah, Liam quite rightly stocked up, put his stock in a bunch of blue permission. So he's gonna be able to untap, and he can now play that Liliana if he should choose to do so. He drew a polluted delta for his turn.
So I believe with a crop rotation and the land drop that the slow that players has in hand, he can probably make a 20-20. That's if the crop rotation would.
How does he make 2020 this turn though?
No, at
Next turn?
yeah, this turn, yeah. But it requires him to do the crop rotation at Liam's end step.
No, but Fox wasn't if he
No,
had
but
a, if
but
he, had a,
he does have a wasteland.
if he had a reanimate in his hand, and he didn't thought seize the wraith, couldn't he just put the wraith in the graveyard by cycling it?
Did he have a reanimate in hand?
No.
Really
I mean, Fox is saying that there's a hypothetical situation. HG Fox is saying there's a hypothetical situation where he wanted his opponent to reanimate the wraith.
Okay.
Yeah,
He wanted Liam to reanimate the Street Wraith.
that's what Fox is saying. He might be one of the reasons why he took the Street Wraith over the Preordain.
Okay.
Yeah, my argument is that the Preordain just sees so many more cards that it makes sense to have the
Oh,
Preordain.
sees 2 more cards,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the whole point of Liam's deck is actually drop his life total.
Yeah. But taking Wraith makes Liam more likely to keep a reanimate off of Preordain. It seems very, very marginal to me. Especially with a swamp in play, that's not entirely the best. It's still a threat. But yeah, this Dark Confidence gonna get picked off by this Liliana that Yuan knows about.
So the players,
And I guess Yuan is
using his
figuring
phone.
out how to get home with his text because yeah, I don't think we need to tell him because I don't think he has much to do, and like if he's playing his Bob into a Liliana, like he's getting ready to pack it up, yeah. Like I'm not sure. This is
So,
Liliana, right?
yeah,
I didn't
has to be
get this
Lily.
wrong, right? Like he has Liliana in his hand, right?
Yep.
Okay. So what? He was hoping his opponent didn't have a 4th land and that he would tap out for Liliana so that he could have Liam's wasteland be tapped. That's the reasoning, right?
Yeah, but you always want to keep the wasteland up if
he's
you're
going, he's going
Liam.
now, so he has an option to
Crop rotate.
crop rotate in response. Yeah, and I think that means that he can make a 2020 on his turn, right? Because he gets another Thespian stage, for example.
Does he have a crop rotation in
And
hand?
he has
or?
second crop rotation in his hand.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And I don't think Liam actually has another blue card to go with the force in his hand. So yeah.
Might be a mistake.
Yeah.
Liam,
I
yeah.
felt like Liam was in a great position because of that having that wasteland untapped. Now with Liam's hand being forced, with Yuan kind of being able to save one of his lands. Yuan is in the position to make a 2020 this turn, and then he's just gonna be able to ask.
He does have that crop rotation.
Yeah, maybe the card in Liam's hand is not a dismember, but it is instead like an edict or Liam's triumph.
If he has
Yeah.
so much. But no other blue card, right?
Okay, so that's Bajuka Bog. He's gonna bog his opponent. He has no other blue card. Yeah, I have to think that Yuan will go for it here, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he's gonna go for it. Yeah, and Liam has to let this resolve. It's forced in 2 black cards, right? Is it one?
I'm seeing.
One other Liliana and
I see a fatal push, a
fatal
force,
push,
and something else.
and some of the black card, right? But does it look like a triumph to me? It doesn't look like an edict.
Yeah.
So he's just gonna go for it. He's just gonna make a 2020 and be like,
Yep.
Liam, I don't know why you tapped that. I don't know why you used that wasteland last turn, but so he's gonna eat his opponent's graveyard to prevent any kind of snapcaster or any shenanigans here. It's 2 dismembers in his hand.
Maybe we print Tombstalker as
Liam
well.
at 13, so there's no way this members even save his life. And yeah, this is gonna be a really, really important draw step for Liam. He needs to draw Edict. Right?
So much. Let's go.
Submerge is good, yeah.
If he has
Submerge would have been an argument for. There's no way he could have gotten rid of both of his forests, right? Yeah, there's no way he could go and rid of both of his forests with the crop rotation. So yeah, he couldn't get out of the submerged thing. Couldn't get out of him top decking a submerged. But yeah, I think Liam is dead. He can shrink it. He can shrink the 2020 to 18.
Yep. Then I
And
think
then
he's
he
just
can
dead.
shrink it by 5. Oh, but he's still at 13.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hardcast the dismember, you mean?
Yeah, Hakas is dismember, right? What else can he do? No, I think that's game. I think they took turns to punt, and Pe Yuen ending up ahead,
Yep. Well,
being in the right place at the right time to punish his opponent for his
after what,
his
7 rounds?
yeah, after 7 rounds
You can make that mistake.
make that mistake of just pulling the trigger on that wasteland. This is only
Look at
Liam.
Liam's like,
Liam's like, how could this happen to me? Made my mistakes.
it's pretty funny.
Should we play the song? Should we play the song and then everyone can listen to it? Yeah.
If you want to, sure.
Yeah. I don't have it saved on my Spotify. I'm not that kind of guy, but what's the name of that song?
I guess you
Is
can
it-
maybe Google how could this happen to me.
I gotta log in. Okay, am I gonna be able to log in time before this game is over? I'm not gonna read out.
I remember I made a pretty bad mistake playing a deck. Then you guys played that on Spotify for me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, hey man, we're all inclusive stream here. Everybody gets the same equal amount of rub-ins. Okay, I'm logging in. Liam, you got some time. Okay, what's this? It's Simple Plan song, right? What is the song?
I guess this. No, it can't be right.
Untitled. It's called Untitled. We found
Simple plan.
it. Yeah, Untitled. Okay. Untitled. Okay. Pump up the volume.
Maybe get to the part.
Okay. Get to the part.
Are you sure this is a song?
This is a song. Or?
Okay. This the.
We're waiting for the part. There you go. That's how Liam feels right now.
Okay. Before we
Okay.
infringe any more copyrights.
So double checking live totals.
Yeah.
Maybe he does have the
Okay.
uptick lately.
I think for our viewers, 120 viewers, we should both sing the song. Me and you, Nat.
I don't know the lyrics, but I know that part.
Okay. Yeah. We could go.
Okay.
We could hum.
Okay.
How could this?
How could this happen to me? I've made my mistakes. There's nowhere to run. That's all I know.
I've got 2 dismembers and a force of will.
But yeah,
My
maybe
hopes of winning this game are fading away.
because what you did say was an uptick on the Lily, the -5, -5.
You guys sound like angels. Thank you, Creamsicle. Yeah. But I wouldn't advise us to quit our day jobs to do this. Yeah. So Liam Fisher, after having found the song, got to the point of the song that we wanted to reiterate for the crowd, is still thinking about his way out of this sticky situation. Are you gonna show the other semifinal? Are we going straight to the finals? I believe the finals are waiting for us. Could be. Yeah. I think the finals. Oh no, they're playing the other semifinal, so we could arrange for the other semifinal. Our policy is if it's not too disruptive, we'll get the players to sit, to kind of shift and play the second semifinal. But if it is going to be too disruptive in the middle of a game,
He actually did have to play with the dismember. So if he was up by 1 life,
yeah, if he
actually
was up by
works.
1, yeah.
He had one extra draw step.
Yeah, he could have 1 extra draw step to find that submerge. And he could have found a ponder into a submerge. Any step of the way if he drew a
Oh,
submerge.
no.
But yeah, if Yuan had the foresight to kind of waste his own forest, then he wouldn't have had submerge as an out, right?
Yeah, but I think you
Yeah.
need all that mana. Every single mana there.
For sure. So
Okay,
yeah,
so
anyway,
Liam takes it.
well then,
Oh no, sorry, not Liam. The other player
Yuan takes it.
the slow that player
Yeah.
takes it.
Yeah, and thank you for joining us for our stream and listening to our smooth and sultry voices of Nathaniel Caron and Ben Huang as we brought to you Simple Plans Untitled.
Yeah, I I think we lost viewers.
Yeah, we
Okay.
lost a couple of viewers because we started singing.
Okay.
But for those of you still here,
Appreciate
just
it.
stay tight. We'll see whether we can get the second semi-final for you, and if not, we will see you for the finals.
Finals. Yep. Thank you. See you. Bye.